From the day you made that protest up till now and the events leading up to it, if you could go back and change anything at all, what would you change and why?
Good question. 99.999.999% I would not change. But that 0.1% I would change. I would think better in terms of how to protect my wife and my kids. I think that's the only flaw that I had being young. You know, I thought anything that would come in terms of reprisal would come directly to me. It never dawned on me, man, until it happened that they shot everything they could shoot at me, and it didn't stop me, it didn't break my spirit, and then they went after my family.
How did they go after your family?
Well, they did a lot of things, man. They used to, if I had to go around and give a speech to collect money, you know, they didn't have no job no more. So any money I had in the house was gone. You know, spending money out, nothing coming in. So we would have to go around on holidays or whatever, man, to the colleges to give a speech. And it wasn't like you had a contract, then they would pass the hat around and pass the can. And the sororities would bring us in and sit us in the sorority house, and the FBI, the CIA, or whoever it was, I don't know, they would take pictures of certain women along the way and point an arrow at them and then send those pictures to my wife and tell my wife that I had sex with all these women. So it constantly things like this was going on, and it was chipping away at my wife's mind. And to the point where it got to the point where she didn't know what to believe anymore. And she eventually took her life. My kids had to endure harassment in school by teachers once they found out that I was their dad. Their grades started going down. Then they would put other kids on them to create problems to try and get my kids in disciplinary problems in the school. My friends, my so-called friends that I had, a lot of them that grew up with me, a lot of them that had the game that I taught them, the hustle and the whole 9 yards, a lot of them started to walk away and leaving. It took me a little while for me to understand that, you know, a lot of them walked away not because of you know, the fact that they didn't like me or have respect for me. A lot of them walked away for fear of reprisal to them and their families. So, you know, we had a lot of things to happen. You know what it's like to be scorned, man, and not have a working situation. You know, to come to your house and bring a whole truckload of drugs and put it on your little coffee table and tell you, say, yeah, man, you go out and make you some money. Well, I grew up in Harlem, so I know about drugs. So I touched and licked and did everything. And told him, say, man, I appreciate it, thanks but no thanks. Why? Because what I did stood far greater than me going out in the street to sell drugs to the same people that I'm fighting for. You know? And I remember when I told them thanks but no thanks and walked them to my door, they looked at me and told me, so you'll never work in America again. And then I had to ask them the same thing that teacher asked me, are you God? If you ain't God, what you saying don't matter to me. Have a good day. So they did a lot of things, man. But I think that the biggest thing was, in terms of me having a better situation to protect my family. That's the only change that I've made. I tried to think that through a little better. Other than that, I wouldn't have changed anything, buddy.
I approach you to say, what are you about to do? Stop what you're about to do.
Nobody knew. Nobody knew. The only person who knew was God, Thomas Smith, John Carlos, and then eventually we turned Peter Norman on. Nobody knew what we were going to do. They didn't have a clue. I think one coach, assistant coach Stan Wright, excuse me, I think he ran the ABC. I mean, he just looked in the eyes and knew something was getting ready to go down, and he ran the ABC and tell ABC do not show it. And ABC like almost cast him to the side. Are you crazy? Get out the way. Because whatever we did, they wanted to make sure they captured it. No one knew. Yes, sir.
How much of a setback do you think it'll be for America if Mitt Romney is elected as US president?
How much of a setback?
Yeah.
Well, man, let's turn the pages back and see how much of a setback it was for George Bush for 8 years. that should answer it right there. America would be in dire straits, and not just America, but I think the world would take a hit. Okay? Yes.
Just want to thank you for that. That was really, really good.
Thank you so much.
Now, what I wanted to ask you was, when you went onto the podium before you went onto the podium, if you hadn't won, I know you're going to say to me you intended to win, but if you hadn't won, would you have still made the gesture with the glove?
Yeah, on 125th Street, it wouldn't have mattered. so and that was the main focus. You know, we knew we had to be on the victory stand. That was the main objective. Is everything is for naught if we didn't make the victory stand. You know, and let me tell you, like I stated to you that God gave me that vision. So like, I mean, He prepared me for that day. You know, it wasn't about medals. You know, when I went to the Olympic Games, I knew I could have had the gold medal, lock, stock, and barrel. I didn't go there for medals. I went there specifically to make a statement. I knew that I couldn't win the medal in my heart and be happy in my heart, and the medal don't mean anything to me, and it meant everything to my teammates. He got his medal, Mr. Norman got his medal, and I got my dream. You know, it don't get no better than that. But you know, the medal right now, like after the games, they told the general public, and most of you people here probably believe that I don't have my medal. Mr. Smith don't have his medal. We have our medals. But they told us that they were going to take our medals away. We're going to run you out the country. I took my visa, I read the back. My visa said if I haven't broken any laws of the land, I can stay for a year. I said I'm going to Acapulco, hang out, and I'll come back for the closing ceremony. So they backed away with that. But then they came in and said, well, we're going to take your medals back. And I made it very clear. I said, I don't know about Mr. Smith, but let me tell you about John Carlos. This medal has no significant value to John Carlos, but it might have every value to my kid. So if you want to take this medal, bring the militia, because that's what you will need to get it, okay? It ain't about the medals, but I had to win a medal to get there. If no medal, no show.
Just one more question. I'm being very greedy. But did you realise, did you think in yourself whether the action would have caused such a furore that it did? Did you expect all these repercussions?
Just based on the vision, I knew it was going to create something. But at the same time, with the vision and with that meeting that I had with Dr. King, you know, it's almost like that was my birthday, the vision that I had, and Dr. King was like my death. In terms of God showing me what I was going to do, and then Dr. King showing me in terms of the shock treatment. You know, that we had to do something that would be pungent enough by him saying that Olympic boycott would be the rock. If we pulled together and pulled the boycott, that would be a shock to the world too, okay? But this was even a greater shock, and this was a divine shock from God for saying, all right, we're going to let the boycott subside, push that to the side. And we're going to let these two young individuals hook up with another young individual from Australia, and they're going to make a statement that would be everlasting. That's like shock treatment. And the reason why we wanted that shock treatment is because we felt that society's conscience had gone dormant. People had no conscience, they had no concern about their fellow man. We had to resurrect their conscience. And I don't think anything we could have done on planet Earth would have been better than that statement we made there that day. Yes, sir. You know, you're disappointed in the president. You know, but let me just tell you my perspective about the president. Here's the first time a black man ever went in the White House that we know of, right? And on the legal side. Imagine how long it took him to find out where the key was to the secret bathroom. You understand? The Republicans are not doing anything whatsoever to help him pass any legislation. And then at the same time, in his own camp in the Democratic Party, everybody's not on board in that camp. If you sit back and you think about Jackie Robinson, you know the history on Jackie Robinson, right? What he had to endure when he crossed the color line. Well, what president do you know had to endure what President Barack had to endure merely because of the color of his skin? He's going through a whole bunch of changes on that side too. In terms of right now, you sit back and say, here we are, the man's almost been in office for 4 years, and we got Arizona talking about we're going to take him off the ballot for him to run for the presidency because we still think his birth certificate is illegal. You understand? We have my man go to the Congress and have somebody from his party jump up and call him a liar. When you heard, you don't hear these things. See, so he's in dealing with a whole bunch of issues, and I tell people, I say, you know, you got to give the man at least 4 years. If you want to throw rocks in the second term. Shit, we gave George Bush 8 years to screw the world up. I ain't see nobody jumping up and down on that. You understand? Yes, we still have a lot of things to deal with. Like I'll give you, for instance, what I'm saying. When Trayvon Martin got killed, and everybody was upset, and the reporter came to me and he said to me, he said, John, you know, everybody's upset about Trayvon Martin. Are you upset? I said, no, I'm not upset. What? What do you mean you're not upset? I said, calm down, chill. I said, let me tell you why I'm not upset. I said, when they killed Emmett Till, I was upset. When they took that man down there in Texas and chained him to the back of a truck and drug his body until it was dismembered, I was upset. When they beat Rodney King down with 25 police standing around, 13 of them beating him and 12 of them watching, I was upset. When they had that man in the New York City Police Department and they took a plunger stick and stuck it up his rectum, I was upset. When they shot the brother down the hallway 40 some odd times, I was upset. No, I'm not upset about Trayvon Martin. I'm disappointed that we still stuck on the movement we shall overcome. I said, we still thinking like back in the 50s and the 40s. I said, here they kill a guy, and the guy had some Skittles in his hand, some tea in his hand. So we still in the mindset, well, let's run out and buy all the Skittles we could buy. Let's get all the iced tea we could buy. I said, how many of your family got stock in the tea company? I said, maybe you own the Skittles company. I said, and then at the same time, you going down to the city where they kill this kid, you gonna fill their carcass at the gas station, you gonna fill their carcass at the hotels, you gonna fill their carcass at the restaurants. I say, I'm not with that. But what do you think we should do? I said, well, I saw everybody wearing a hoodie. Cool, I think everybody should have wore a hoodie. I said, but imagine if we said, pass up going to their town to fill up their carcass with the money and took 1 million hoodies and went surround the Supreme Court to let them know that we are tired of you allowing laws like this to be passed. And by you being the highest court in the land and you not stepping up to strike those laws down, then we making a statement. But for me to go and march and sing We Shall Overcome and leading people that way, it's like they got people leading people the wrong way. That's my philosophy. Now, I'm not upset about that because I've been upset too long. I want to get busy. And the only way we're going to get busy is through numbers to let them know that we tired, man. We ain't letting them know we tired by going down there to fill up their bank accounts. Let's go to the Supreme Court and let them know that you got to do a damn better job. Yeah.
I was going to say that in the immediate aftermath of you making this statement, there was so much negative publicity about it. At any point, did you think that your message hadn't been heard or that it wasn't worth doing? And when did you see some sort of change or awareness of what you'd done was making an impact?
That's a very good question. All right, look here. Let's walk through this. We did the demonstration, right? The first day we did the demonstration, the next morning when the papers came out, they took all the papers out of the Olympic Village. Why did they take them out? Because they didn't want the athletes to see what the discussion was around the world. Second thing, this is the first time the Olympic Games have ever been televised worldwide. What we did, the demonstration that we did was never ever done on the face of the earth that we know of. Nobody never seen anything like what we did. Those that was in the stadium had it right close, dead up in their face. Those that had it on TV had it even closer up in their face. That brings shock when you see something that you never ever experienced in your life before. It brings fear to everybody. And then you remember, you ever go to the movies and you see the movie screen here and the first feature is gone and then the movie is real quiet